Till that although we are warned to be most afraid of a mother bear and her cubs, nearly 90 of fatal bear attacks are at the paws of lone male bears. I spent a lot of time outdoors growing up and was in scouts etc., but the general advice has always been based on color and on whether the baby is present. 99 of the advice also mention seasons and the fact that starving males in particular due to competition and aggression can act out of typical "it's a wild bear." In print at least this is nearly always mentioned. Starving bears are a huge issue when males full of T and starving are of course going to be the most dangerous, just as is true with lions and tigers. I have been camping in the Shenandoah region, VA, USA, for years now and there are bears everywhere. You basically will run into a bear every time you go camping. And they never ever attack you. I am far more scared of an unfamiliar dog than a black bear. When I have happened upon cubs, the cubs simply run away as soon as they see you, and the mom runs away too. 99 of the time, as soon as the bear even notices you, they turn and run away immediately. Okay. I'm a little surprised since I've always regarded a bear cub as about the most dangerous animal encounter out there. Living and recreating in North America. The other animal that always makes me worry is the moose calf. I just assume that a cow moose has zero chill about people being around her darling angel baby. But then, that's what I thought about bear sows. I guess I'll just continue to give all larger animals babies plenty of room. Not really groundbreaking conclusions here. It's already widely known that male black bears are potentially dangerous and females with cubs are more interested in getting their cubs up a tree and then her exiting the immediate area. If a black bear is putting on a show, huffing, charging, etc., it's all bluff. It's when they approach like Charles Manson that your danger meter should peg to 1000. Grizzlies, on the other hand, fatal being the key word here. Nobody wants to be attacked by a bear regardless of it being fatal or not. The old adage about never get between a mother and her cubs is real, but attacks that happen due to that are usually only to the point where the bear feels the cubs are safe, and then she will often leave. Fatal attacks are almost always bears that are associating humans with food, or preying on them for food. Could be survivorship bias. A lone male attacking out of desperation and hunger is not gonna stop until it's finished eating you, but a mother protecting her cubs will usually stop once you're no longer perceived as a threat. The only people who get attacked by a bear and live to tell the tale are the ones who get attacked for reasons other than the bear being hungry. Keep in mind that because of the relative awareness of what to do around bear cubs, moms don't get between them, keep your distance, etc. People may be better educated on that scenario than on what to do with lone bears. It could be a situation where mama bear is still more likely to maul and kill, but people avoid those scenarios better so the line male bear attacks become more common and, eventually, more fatal. We tell people to be wary of mother bears protecting their young because there is a real risk of someone seeing a bear cub and thinking, "Oh, that's cute, I'm going to go pet it." Meanwhile, there is not a huge risk of someone approaching a lone male bear and trying to give it a hug. We don't bother telling people to avoid adult bears because they already know. Is it because people are so well trained to avoid mothers with cubs that they are too comfortable around lone male bears? Is it a skewing of the propensity of a bear attack when looking at the frequency of encounter? If people actively avoid bear cubs, then that subset of interactions will be deflated compared to lone males and lone females. This makes sense. People are stupid. I was told not to bother a mother with cubs, so single large animals should be fine. I have watched tourists walk up to a 10-foot gator and stand only 2-3 feet away. The gator will probably not bother you, but why are you that close to a thing that can bite you to death, right? Because people are warned to be afraid of mother bears and her cubs. Kind of like saying even though we are told not to drink and drive, 90 of fatal car accidents are caused by sober people. That doesn't mean the other thing is safe, just means the numbers would be higher if people didn't avoid it. Makes sense. I imagine a greater fear of mother bears the fact that there is the added chance of spotting the cubs and being aware that there are bears around means there would be a lower rate of altercations, which would a higher percentage of bear attacks being perpetrated by lone male. I once had a day where I encountered 6 pairs of grizzly mama and cubs in a 6-hour window. Every single time, as soon as they saw us or were aware of us, they moved in the opposite direction of us. As long as you don't surprise or threaten the cub, they will want nothing to do with you. Female bears protecting their cubs have a reason to be extra vigilant for disturbances that signal a nearby human. Most bear attacks happen when a bear is surprised. Females with cubs are also not going to go after a human the way a lone male might try his luck in taking one down. From the same article. The authors noted that brown bears behave much differently than black bears, and a significant proportion of fatal attacks or serious maulings that involved brown bears began with the bears acting defensively, including those lashing out to protect cubs. In my experience with moose and bears, mother animals will try to avoid violence and instead will focus on removing their babies from any danger. Anytime I see a wild animal, I get away from it because I am in their home and I don't want to bother them. Sounds a bit like survivor bias. If everyone knows a mother and her cubs are dangerous, they stay away from that situation, so the attacks that still happen must be something else. Likely hikers surprising or being surprised by a lone male bear. Defensive bear attacks are much more common than attacks for predation food. It makes sense that a large animal trying to eat you or something you have will kill you more often than one that is intent on neutralizing a threat and running away. If a male bear attempts to kill me, I'm likely screwed. If I run into a mother, I might be able to prevent escalating the situation. The warning is because one is in your control while the other is not. It is worth teaching. Isn't this something akin to confirmation bias? Because people generally know to avoid mother bears, they aren't in a place to be killed by mother bears. Thus, inflating the percentage of deaths caused by male bears. 8 of Americans think they can beat a grizzly bear in a fight. Source YouGov poll. Because attacks by mom are to stop you from hurting her babies. Once they are safe, she goes with them. Attacks by males are to eat you. Both are going to hurt, but one is far more likely to kill you. Mind you, this is probably influenced by the fact that people are less likely to die to a mother with cubs because of the warnings. Would still be more deaths from lone bears though. Do you think people are more likely to heed the warnings when they see mother bears and cubs? But don't seem to consider that tall bears are dangerous. Genuine curiosity. I've never heard to be more afraid of the mother bears. I think you are confusing being given a reason to be fearful of mother bears with which one to be feared more. A male black bear just killed a guy in my town not too long ago. He was sitting on his property drinking coffee when it came up from behind him and mauled him to death. Bears are notorious misogynists and the males spread these ugly rumors about the women just to make themselves look better and to stay in control. Bear and non. Okay, but what is the percentage of mom attacks versus male attacks? Are you more likely to get attacked by a mother? The answer is yes, even if it isn't fatal. My guess is that mother bears will avoid conflict, but when confronted they will be more vicious. Whereas males are more confrontational but less vicious. Well, if people make an extra effort to avoid disrupting mama bears with cubs, maybe that's effective and they should try the same for bears without cubs. Mother bears are cautious. They're not going to risk their cubs' safety if they can. Don't forget these creatures and hear and smell fairly well. Props to whoever wrote this title for having the presence of mind to change the phrase to add the pause of despite the very scary subject matter. A drunk man in a nearby town was arrested after chasing a bear into the woods while brandishing a hatchet. I have nothing to add to this story. Maybe that's because we leave the mommies alone because we actually listened. Maybe they should start warning people about male bears. Upside down face. Probably because of the predominant warnings about mother bears when they shouldn't be sexist. Beware of bears. I read once, never verified or look into it, that sometimes mom with cubs seek out humans to get male bears away from them. Black bears is a very important distinction that should be in this title. Black bears don't cub defend, grizzly bears do, because we're warned to be afraid of mother bear and her cubs. We aren't warned to stay away from lone male bears. Maybe it's because people see the lone male bear and think, oh, it's fine, it doesn't have cubs, and gets too close. I wonder to what degree us all thinking that mother bears with cubs are very dangerous impacts this statistic. That's just because we've been so well educated about mother bears. Next PSA should be avoid other bears too. So the disinformation is working? Otherwise the percentage would have been swapped to female bears with cubs. My approach to bears is to not mess with them and give them plenty of distance. I haven't been mauled yet. That's because when you see there are no cubs, it's dangerously easy to revert to yeah, I could take him. How about just be afraid of bears? Mother bear, single male bear, come on people, they're bears, FFS. Maybe because we know to stay away from mother bears and their cubs, so most attacks are from lone bears. The article says they were analyzing attacks by black bears only, so the post header is kinda misleading. I feel like people are more taught to be wary around bears in general, not just mothers and their cubs. Prior to the warnings, I thought 80 of all bear attacks fatal and non-fatal were a female with cubs. Being afraid of bears that I am not seeing in real life via binoculars is my personal rule of thumb. It's probably because the warnings to stay away from mother bears have worked to reduce the ratio. What I have learned here is mama bears don't actually attack 90 of the time. Those lonely male bears probably all play too much video games. So much unnecessary violence. Well yeah, no shit. Tell people to avoid something, and they're unlikely to be killed by it. I'm interested in all bear attacks, not just the fatal ones. Any bear attack would be bad. Male bears need loving too. Maybe we could set up consensual bear sex workers for them? Not sure I want to check a bear's genitalia. I'll assume I'm not long for this world. I mean, I'm still not gonna test my odds against mama bear if it's all the same to you. So the warnings are working, we just need to add lone male bears and we are golden. Still great general advice though for avoiding becoming part of the other 10. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night. Because everyone knows to stay the hell away from a mother bear with its cubs. Because we run when we see cubs and the mother doesn't want to ditch the cubs. Are lone males packs of unmated males the true danger in all mammal species? You mess with the mama bear, you get the horns. Modern Alaskan proverb, mother bears bring their cubs around people to protect them from the males, is out because we know to avoid mother grizzlies with cubs, and so we do. That could just mean that people are listening to the mama bear warnings. PSA. If you see a wild bear, give it its space and respect it deserves. I was a lot more dangerous before I settled down and got married too. Yes, probably because the mother bears and cubs avoid eating cocaine. I really appreciate the reliability of common knowledge to be false. Do we really need a distinction? Stay away from the fucking bears. Yeah, because we ain't fucking around with the mother's babies. This is a great example of the pervasiveness of misinformation. We are? I thought we were afraid of bears and pretty sure most fatal attacks are by lonely human males too. Oh, the patriarchy strikes again, radical leftists. Probably.